Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. This is Josh from On the Wrong Lead by StableDuel. I am excited to talk to you guys about some StableDuel stuff this weekend at Del Mar. I know our friend Bremont is out there. She's boots on the ground. She's got the credit card ready to buy multiple Del Margaritas. And I think the man most excited to talk about StableDuel is the BD horse player himself, Mr. Brian Duransky. I know you're like, you never come to me first. What the hell?
Are you feeling okay? Do you have a bit of a fever or something? You caught me off guard. I'm just sitting here staring off into space, and then all of a sudden, boom! Here I am.
Well, you do have the StableDuel green screen going, so I figured we should bring you on first. How you doing, man?
You know, I'm living the dream. It was a crazy day today. Stayed home from work. Had the kids hanging out with me for most of the day, so always an adventure. Played some horses. You know, what are you going to do, man? It's a Thursday.
Speaking of what are you going to do on a Thursday? Mark, what are you going to do on a Thursday?
Degenerately bet Saratoga, of course.
Were you on track today or no?
I was not on track. Had to go into the office today, but had a very good day nonetheless.
I'd like to point out that Irad was not on track today either.
He was not. He could not be found all day.
Dude, I only needed him once. And what is that dude doing? But strangling the horse the whole back. I mean, I gotta watch the replay and see what the F happened. Like, I don't know if he got backed into or what happened, but
that was a fairly beatable favorite. On paper, that horse took way more money than it looked like on paper was fast. That was a horse that I think was quite overbet. I realized you needed the horse. I realized it was the best horse in the race. 100% agree. But I think that was, in trying to beat favorites, that was a good one to try to beat.
I got fooled. And then I used that two horse because the two horse had been working out with Maxfield. And I think I had a trip note on the horse from like either last time out or 2 times out ago. So I was like, oh, working with Maxfield, I got a trip note. Let's go. Let's dump the money. Speaking of dumping money, Caleb, that's really mostly talking about your possibly future foray into home ownership. Brian will tell you that you will be dumping plenty of money into the home. But how was your Thursday?
Thursday was not so great. Wednesday was pretty good yesterday. Hit a pick 5 yesterday, so that was kind of a nice day. Today, not as much, not so great. We had some of that Thursday, like y'all were talking about, that Thursday nonsense where it seems like the top jocks just don't show up sometimes during the week. It really felt like Irad kind of phoned it in today. But yeah, so not great. I probably also overplayed. Yesterday's speed seemed very good on the main track, and I kind of played today assuming it'd be the same way, and I definitely think the track was different. So that kind of cost me a little bit, but I mean, it wasn't really a bad day, just kind of, wasn't very heavy in action.
Yeah, I got really enamored with this. I don't have the PPs up anymore for the day, but this 4-horse that won at Belmont after like dwelling in the gate and just like made this huge, like real impressive closing move and won. And I was like, after I saw like a horse close on the dirt early, I told you guys, I was like, that's it. Like, this is the horse I'm going to funnel all my money through. And I believe the horse started last and did not make that sweeping, impressive move like he did when he dwelt in the gate. So oddly enough, the horse that won that race, Mongolian something.
Humor, maybe?
Yeah,
maybe. It's something Mongolian. Always got horses with Mongolian in the name. Just always do, because they will hurt you if you don't.
That horse was also in the same race that 4 made the impressive move with, and also had a slow start. But he had run at Saratoga once since then. And then, Caleb, you reminded me. You were like, yeah, he was just like 3 wide the entire time and just, was whatever. It looks like Fu says he's challenging Shu for Stable Duel tonight. If we're all game, what's going on? Is tonight the Emerald Downs game?
It is.
It is.
You know,
Brian, I'll let you investigate here. You're typing.
You can't play Fu at Emerald Downs on Stable Duel if you like your $7. However, right now there's 69 active stables. Shout out Cooter. And
Technically, Shu challenged him.
is it a real challenge, or is it like a Swift hitter challenge of I'm not going to play Indiana or IRED ever again, and then he does it 10 minutes later?
Well, it was Shu, not Swift, so there's less of a flip flop. I think. I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's maybe I'll pull up Emerald Downs. How much time we got, Bri? We got like an hour.
22 minutes.
22 minutes. I mean, for me, that's basically an hour. So
I mean,
I
you kept like two different tracks on 2 different days in 15 minutes before the stream. So I mean, you should be gold. You could cap it 4 or 5 times.
I'm coming right now. I'm putting my entry in right now.
All right, Brian's jumping in. Brian will be our representative unless I get some time here. But Caleb. I mean, I thought you brought a good point up about the track. And Mark, I think Mark, you might have been the one who kind of put me on this, but like Saratoga is kind of a place you kind of got to watch because things flip like on a day to day. So you can't just assume, hey, if the track's fast one day and it's playing the speed, that's going to be all of a sudden it's going to stay speed for any significant amount of time. So you kind of got to be on your toes a little bit.
We had rain late yesterday. Track got wet down late, and normally the next day that does turn into a fairly speed favoring track. But today it appeared quite fair. Looks like they worked it quite a bit, and I think overall the dirt was fair, and the turf was definitely you want to be off the pace a little bit on the turf. It felt like the whole day.
I do have a comment here from the British Gamer saying no love for the mighty Charlestown. Caleb, as the resident West Virginian. What are your feelings towards Charlestown? Lowest blended takeout in the game.
Charlestown is the inferior West Virginia track. It's all about the mountain. If you're going to, West Virginia, it's all about mountaineering.
West Virginia, take me home.
Oh,
that's right, Brian.
Yeah, okay. Brian started singing. It's time to move on.
Move it along. Yeah,
I'm trying to stretch 12,000 Stable Duel bucks into 3 more horses here. So,
that's definitely possible.
Dude, Stable.
Well, actually, it's a little bit tougher at Emerald Downs because you got like 6 horse fields, and you got
that is true.
You can't find a $750 horse.
Not true. I actually found 2 $750 horses at Emerald Downs that'd be worth playing. One of them may be a Josh special though, so we'll see.
Oh, there's definitely Josh specials that they're going to be brought up on today's stream. So we're going to look at a couple of just like various stakes races, kind of bounce around. Look at Del Mar a little bit, probably a little bit more intently, maybe try and find some Stable Duel stuff there. But I figure we'll start with Saratoga here. Tomorrow, their feature is going to be the Lake George, not where John Clendon's from, not the town John Clendon's from. But Lake George are going to be going a mile on the turf. I know, Mark, you have a horse in here that you absolutely love. Who is our favorite in this race? It looks like it's going to be. Is it going to be Jouster?
I think Jouster is your favorite.
Is Jouster your favorite? Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, right.
Because I got a big old A written next to Jouster. You see, you have this E here. You got an 8 here. It's actually an E9 horse. Oddly enough, the only time you can get an E9 horse is if it's on the turf and you get Luis Saez aboard. That turns into an E9. But I just, Jouster's coming in, hasn't really done much wrong. Won a solid the Appalachian earlier this year. I don't know. This horse just seems like the most likely winner. I know Chad's got like 7 horses in this race or something ridiculous, but. I think Jouster's going to get out there, set the pace, and I think he's probably going to go wire to wire. But Mark, I know you went a different way here.
Yeah, I did go a bit of a different way here. I really, really like Fluffy Socks in here. This is a horse that I have liked for quite some amount of time. She brings her A game all the time. Chad shipped her all over the place. She's fired huge. And if you look at her, she just happens to be 2 for 2 at a mile, and we're running a mile today. I really wonder if she's one of those just mile specialists. She doesn't want to go a little further. And you get Joel Rosario, who absolutely should fit her running style to a T. There's a fair bit of pace signed up in this race. I think with how the track was playing today, where closers were doing real well, I think she should get the right trip. And at 10-1 on the morning line, that's for a horse that I think fits here very well. I really, really like Fluffy Socks in this.
Caleb, I do need a check. Is this a fake Chad?
Oh, you know what? It is, but it's 10-1. So I didn't like this horse, and then I looked at the morning line, and I'm like, that seems unlikely. I mean, I know David does a good job, so maybe he's right here. But to me, like 10-1 feels too high. I wasn't a big fan of the Wonder Again. I thought that was kind of a soft race, and I thought the figs were a little bit inflated. But Con Lima and Plum Ali both came out of that race to run again and kind of proved up the quality of that race, showing that those figs actually might be legit. So I do think that Fluffy Socks has a shot in here. I mean, she would be my top pick, but I definitely wouldn't talk anybody against using her in this race.
It looks like they're noting some trouble in the trip notes. That might be a replay to go back and look at if you're a replay person. But
yeah, I was gonna say I think quite honestly, Con Lima and Plum Ali, who are probably the two best horses in the division, are just better than Fluffy Socks is. But neither one of them are here today, so I think there's an argument to be made that she might be sort of the best of the rest in that group. And the other thing that I kind of didn't say about her earlier was she's the improving type. She's kind of gets better every race, and she's oddly improving for Chad. It's very rare to see a Chad horse that takes a small step forward every race. The Chad horses are very prone to taking very large leaps forward. So, this one might have some, give her a few more races and she might get real good.
Brian, what you got?
Man, I feel like I went a whole different angle than everybody else. So this is probably going to be a epic crash and burn. I like two price horses here. First horse I like is the 4 Invincible Gal. Big fan of the fail as a favorite in last race angle. Not really. Looking at just Briss, I capped this in like 37 seconds after I did Emerald Downs. And the horse looks like at 15-1, I just think it's a morning line I can't look at. Like, it feels way too tall. So looking at what happened last out, sure, the horse kind of crashed and burned at Churchill Downs. Not the first filly to go to Churchill Downs and not perform. Comes back to New York now. And, I'm probably more likely, like as a cash bet, to play this horse underneath a couple horses, given the fact that the horse does have 4 seconds and 7 races on the turf. So it's worth noting that. That's what drew my attention originally. And then going down to the 7, Toby's Heart. I got nothing to say about this horse. I like the horse. 10-1's ridiculous. The horse has been in the money, 4 out of 6 races. I don't know how you can sit there and look at this horse at 10-1. Javier is aboard. Brian Lynch isn't getting a win right now, but eventually has to break the over, and he's only over 4 according to PPs. So that's it. I got nothing else to say. Sorry, I got distracted. I got distracted by Emerald Downs.
We blame Foo.
I got completely distracted by Emerald Downs. I had a really smart angle on why I like Toby's Heart, and I didn't write it down. And then Emerald Downs came aboard, and now I'm just rambling like a moron.
Well, don't worry, Chase isn't here to cut you off. So
yeah, and he's not there to give you the annoyed. You talk too much look like he gives me. So, Caleb, what you got?
Yeah, so I'm kind of taking a stand here a little bit against the 3.5 dozen horses Chad Brown entered in this race. So, if you haven't been paying attention, Chad Brown's had a pretty bad Saratoga. He's, I think, 2 for 21, something like that. He's like less than 10%, which is bad for Chad Brown for sure. That's very bad for his standards. And when you consider that in some of those races, he had like half the field, like the Forbidden Apple and then the Diana, he had a couple runners. Like, that's not great. He had a huge favorite today in a maiden race, lose at 1-2 without much excuse. Irad maybe kept her a bit wide, but it just doesn't seem like his stable's firing right now. None of these Chads really excite me. I think the 6 is one of the least likely winners in here, so I do hope that horse takes money. I know I just said that, so she's going to win now, so feel free to bet her. But Irad and Michael Dubb and Chad, and I want nothing to do with that 6 at 9-2. But I do think she gets bet, so I'm excited to bet this race. My opinions are actually on some of the shippers. Well, I guess not really a shipper, but I like the 2. I'm taking the East Coast turf wizard, Ricardo Santana Jr., up for Jorge Abreu. This horse has done nothing wrong. It won going 6 furlongs at Belmont in a sprint. It moved up in class, won at a mile, and then moved up again and won at a mile, including beating one of the Chad Brown runners in here, Minon, who went off 6-5 that day. This horse has improved in each start, has speed figures trending the right direction, is working out well leading into this race. And I think at 6-1, this horse really interests me here. I'm also going to have like a passing interest in Jouster, as Josh kind of mentioned. 7-2 is not the price I want there, but I'm going to probably have to watch the turf to see how it's playing early in the day. If it looks like speed is fair, then that horse will make my ticket. If speed is not holding like it hasn't the last 2 days, then I think Jouster's a pretty easy toss because she really has gotten away with murder in the lead in each of her last 2 or 3 starts. And then I really want to get to this one horse with Landeros, but the problem is Landeros. Demo Dog is a really promising filly here, but I'm just not sure that I want to trust Landeros to navigate a trip in this kind of a race. But at 12-1, I think that's a gamble worth taking.
Hey, question, Caleb, because you said Landeros navigating a trip here, and this horse has showed a not a need for speed, but I mean, in two career starts, this horse seems to be forwardly placed. Even this seems like something Landeros can't mess up unless he gets pinned on the rail, right?
Well, if I'm Rudy Brissett, I tell Landeros, listen, let Jouster go, and hopefully the 9 goes with him. I don't really know what the 9's going to do stretching out of the sprints. It has always been forwardly placed when going 2 turns. Let them go, and you sit third, because this race is pretty much full of Jouster and then the 9, who pretty much want to be right up on the pace, and then mostly kind of one-run closers. I mean, I guess the 8 might sit mid-pack, but for the most part, there aren't any EPs in this race. And I think as long as Landeros doesn't get stupid and go for the lead or try to duel with Jouster, I think he almost inherently has to trip out. He saves the ground sitting third. And if his horse is good enough, all he has to do is get a lane turn for home.
Yeah, I completely agree with your take on that, Caleb. I really like Demo Dog, and I wanted any other jock than Chris Landeros on that horse, and that horse is super interesting. On the inner, rail speed tends to be very, very good. You get that nice, short shoot. He could let the 2 outside horses clear and sit. He should inherit a perfect pocket trip, but it's Chris Landeros, so he'll inherently do something dumb and screw it up.
I need to challenge. Hold on, before you go on, I need to challenge something. All right, you mean to tell me that you can't name any other jock you would rather have on this horse than Chris Landeros?
I can name a million other jocks.
You can't name anybody who you can't name anybody worse.
Oh, I can name a couple.
Okay. Well, you might want to retake your. All right. I know. I know. We like what's fashionable for us to bash these jockeys into the winner's circle, but as Caleb was escorting and grabbing a Demo Dog, and bringing him into the winner's circle there on his scornful tie trade against Chris Landeros. I do have to point out Chris Landeros is 19% on the turf, and that's in Kentucky. So I mean, there's some decent turf racing in Kentucky. So I don't think I don't know if we should bash him that much.
But be honest, Brisnet also says Ricardo Santana Jr. is a switch to a high percentage jockey, despite the fact that Jorge's got him on a turf mount here.
Well, he went from Luis Cardenas. What's Cardenas on this?
Louis Cards.
Cardenas is probably like 10% on the turf, 9% on the turf.
Call
You're
yourself
getting a whole
generous.
extra
You're so
4%.
generous.
And
Cardenas-
honestly, if you
Cardenas
look at
won with this horse.
if you look at like the last like I don't know 8 months, Ricardo somehow like got all these like nice maker mounts and just like started winning turf races. I don't know what happened. So
We just talked this 2 into the winner's circle. I'm
this
gonna
two
hammer it.
is oh yeah, and Mark, you're the one who liked the 2, right? Or is that you, Brian?
I like the 2.
Oh, Caleb liked the 2. God.
Who'd you like, Josh? I mean, besides Jouster.
I might just single Jouster in this spot. I might just single Jouster in this spot, and I think was this the race? I wrote down, yeah. So I actually think I just went back a race real quick. I think I kind of just took a quick look at this at Friday's card. I think my actual play in this spot is going to be just a straight Louis size double, judge and jury to Jouster. So I'll probably my big play tomorrow, and I'll probably single both of them in like a pick 5 and see what happens. That's kind of the approach I've started taking, especially with like the pick 5, is find like a double I like, and then kind of build around that. It keeps it a little bit cheaper, and usually if I hit those 2 horses, I mean that's guaranteeing profit for the rest of the day. So
judge and jury's where you went with that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Also surprised by it, but you
don't like judge and jury in that spot?
I didn't think you'd like judge and jury in that spot.
It has an E, and it's the only E horse in the race.
Yeah, it's literally lone.
man.
It's like the lone like actual speed horse that probably needs a lead. Just got gelded.
I really
you get Louis Size aboard.
I like Devil's Code quite a lot in there. But yeah,
Bold single, Josh.
Yeah, it's a bold single. Agreed. Bold single.
Hey, you got to give yourself hurdles, baby. You got to give yourself hurdles. Even if you run into them with your big ass fucking gut, like you got to put hurdles out there.
I was making a fat guy joke about yourself, and
I made a fat guy joke, and I made an
favorite
ITP reference. So I'm gonna take a drink after that one.
You earned it, buddy. You take that drink.
Funny. I was talking to when I was at the track on Saturday. I was talking to Ed, and I was telling him about a pick 5 I played at Arlington, and I really liked Busy Channel, but I told him I was like, yeah, I fucking used the favorite too. I'm like, ITP's probably just like he'd be so disappointed if he saw this ticket, and Ed just starts fucking laughing.
I just want ITP and Mark to have one conversation about eating bees, because that's going to be fantastic for me to be there for.
Yeah.
I don't think you realize.
But before Josh moves on, the one horse that Caleb just did briefly touch on, and I was a little interested in, is the other Chad, which is Minuan, the 10 horse. Caleb was talking about kind of sitting that pocket trip with the 1. I think the 10 also sits that same pocket trip. Manny can get the horse to break, tuck right in. These outside drawn horses at a mile on the turf do really well. And this horses every right to improve off from the trip it got last out. It was 5 and 6 wide in the upper, and apparently listed as closing really well. I think this one gets a little bit better of a trip, has every right to step forward here. And, Manny has actually historically done very, very well when he's up for the Chad Brown barn. In the last year up for the Chad Brown barn, he is 29% out of 95 total mounts for $2.43 ROI. So, Manny Franco, you don't think of as riding for Chad or being somebody that's super successful in it, but he is very high ROI when he does.
I'm going to tell you this. I'd rather have Chris Landeros than Manny Franco.
I 100% disagree with you. Josh, $100 straight up, Minuan or the 1?
I don't like either of those horses. So, no, I don't like either. I don't like either of those horses. I'm just saying. No, Caleb, you don't agree? You'd rather have Manny Franco? I know you've had some thoughts about Manny Franco.
I'm not a big Manny Franco fan. I'm not. Manny Franco is like the definition of a do-nothing jockey, in my opinion. Like, he wins the races he's supposed to win, where he's on the best horse, and he just stays wide and goes forward. But he never moves up a horse, and oftentimes, we all saw what he did on Tis the Law multiple times. Sometimes he downgrades a horse. He's just the guy you put on that he wins the races he's supposed to. I mean, I guess that's fine. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't watch enough of Kentucky to really speak on Chris Landeros. I know he's had some tough golf streams lately where I've seen, but I don't know if that's more of a function of Ian Wilkes-Barre just not firing in the last year or so, or if that's really Landeros. But
but man, Landeros killed Turfway Park, man.
He did.
He was
if
killing.
You look at the numbers. Landeros is an 18% jock this year. That's better than Johnny V. That's better than Luis Saez. That's better than Javier Castellano. I mean, granted that some of those probably came at Turfway and some lesser tracks, but high percentage guy nonetheless in 21.
Hold on. Manny Franco in 21 is a 17% jock. So, I mean, we can keep going with this analogy.
Well, last time I checked, 17 is less than 18. So,
but it's pretty damn close.
I feel like you guys are arguing about the tallest midget clown.
Yeah, I mean, like they're like both like completely competent and like not. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we'll be getting some angry letters from their jockeys or their jockey agents.
Get angry letters. I'd take Lane Luzzy over both of them.
Which did
Brian
Henry?
Oh,
Yeah,
by the way,
Brian's
how
going
is Lane? How is Lane doing? Didn't he suffer a spill and like break his arm or something?
I thought he was back to training. I be honest, I haven't paid attention to it in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, this is like the time of year where I don't really follow the circuits that he rides on normally. So I played Lone Star a little bit, but I kind of, once Sam Houston's done until Remington starts back up, I'm not really back into the South. Okay, we got a couple. All right, look at Foo's a smart guy. He's just a real smart guy. He said Landeros is far better, just doesn't get the mounts as the others. He said Lascano, however, is the best turf rider. Fight me.
He's 100% correct. That is the proper take.
Dude, Jose Lascano to me is the same as Caleb's Juan Hernandez. I just can't get on the right side of Lascano.
Yeah.
I just can't get on the right side of him. And like the worst part is he wins like 18%, right? 18, 20% turf races, and I'm never on the right side. And then Road Warrior saying Manny Franco to him does just fine, has bad moments, but has ridden well for Chad and Christoph. Plenty of prices for both. Yeah, I mean, like who are we kidding, right? Like the poster boy for like brilliance and like idiocy is probably Joel Rosario. So, and I'm sure if we owned a horse and like we got Joel Rosario to ride, I don't think any of us would be unhappy. Well, maybe Brian, but
is it an E8 that you're going to bet on? If it is, I don't want Joel on him. But
let's move on to Saturday. I mean, do we even want to talk? Like, I didn't even say anything to you guys, but like this Coaching Club American Oaks, we get a 4-horse field. I mean, this is kind of just like they never get a big field for this race. Am I right?
They never get a big field for this race. People tend to point towards other races, be it the Bama. It just doesn't have the prep angle like the Jim Dandy does for the Travers. And it's always like a C-tier race. And you see a lot of this, like where you have Malathot. If somebody comes in here, collects a check, and moves on.
I mean, I would like if I could enter like borrow my neighbor's dog and run it in this race, like $500,000, and you get part of the purse all the way up to what is it? 4th and 5th, I guess. Well, I mean, yeah, 5th place. So, $500,000 to go out there and run in a circle for a mile and a half.
Would you put Landeros on that dog?
I'd bet on Landeros on his feet.
I mean,
I just can't wait till one of these horses shows up in like the catalogs for the auction, and it's like graded stakes place, grade 1 stakes place, and it's like the 2 or the 3 here that like sucked up for 3rd in like or graded stake. What is it? Graded stake is placed. Do they still consider 3rd placed?
Yeah.
And when they say graded stakes place,
like
yes.
Advertisements,
Yeah. In all fairness, both the 2 and the 3 will have better breeding pedigrees than Improbable stupid tagline. Ran 3rd to 4 horses in the Santa Anita Derby or some crap like that.
No, you know who's the funniest? The funniest ad possible was Mr. Monomoy's. have you guys ever seen Mr. Monomoy's commercial?
No.
It's just funny because like it shows like it's like half to Monomoy girl, and then it's like ran third in a grade 3, and it's like, dude, like really? Like, and it was like a 3-year-old, like, because I think he won like the Risen Star or something, right? He won one of those races. It was just like, come on, man.
Yeah, I love when they advertise like recorded like 100 buyer, like the fastest buyer of any son of like, you know, like dialed in or some shit, like some like obscure other sire. Like it's just like, okay.
What was it a Run Happy ad that it was like, you can't teach speed, and like it was just like it showed like the horse like running. It's like, come on, dude, like get out of here. But anyways, enough with the horse jizz talk. Let's move on to race 10 here, the Caress Grade 3. I know this one might be tough for you, Mark. I know there's a horse in here that's near and dear to your heart that like kind of hurt your pocketbook a little. Well, maybe not yours indirectly, but you know, a friend of yours' pocketbook. But the 2 Robin Sparkles here, 6-5, morning line favorite. Right behind Caravel, the 7-5 here, and then it gets kind of yeah. I mean, we're just gonna ignore that the 6 horses in this race, but yeah, it seems like a 2-horse race here. I was leaning Robin Sparkles. I thought this is, I mean, the horse that just hasn't done anything wrong.
So shockingly, you were that big E number. You were leaning that way. I mean, yeah. Okay, cool.
Look at horses that get into the front tend to win. I mean, I don't know. It's easier to cross the finish line first if you're in the front.
Yeah, I mean, I really wish Caravel drew any other post than the 1 here, and I realize that Caleb's going to probably give me flack about how the 1 post of 5.5 isn't that bad, and if you remove the maidens from it, you know, it's not terrible. But you know, I think Robin Sparkles is your most likely winner in here. Caravel was sort of the other horse I was a little interested in, but the post definitely, I think, hurts the horse's chances. And beyond that, I think you kind of fall off a cliff, and I had a hard case making, you know, any sort of a case for anyone else in the field. Just keep it short and sweet, because honestly, both the stakes races on Saturday sort of suck. I mean, they're going to be races you're going to be like, I was there when Malathat won by 35 lengths. But, you know, I mean, this turf sprint, I really wish it had more horses in it. You know, I really wish I had more quality horses in it. But again, this is a weak division. So what do you really want? I mean, freaking Jakarta's here. It's got to be a weak division. So, yeah.
So, Brian, I guess I want to ask you, because this seems like more your type of play. But one of the guys who I text with every once in a while, Nico, he was on with Jason Beam a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about contrarianism for contrarianism's sake, right? Like that's how like you kind of just like that's a way to make money in some of these types of races where you get these heavy favorites and stuff like that. Do you see like any value in trying to beat, you know, maybe this 1 or 2 here or Malathat, or do you think that like there's a certain point where like they're just such heavy favorites and they look so much the best on paper that it's just like not worth it?
So I'm the idiot that lost the Arlington Million pick 5 to, who was that Chad Brown horse? Went off like 2-5 because I thought
Bricks and Mortar.
Bricks and Mortar. The only horse that knocked me out of the pick 5 because I said, you know what, today's the day Bricks and Mortar doesn't run. I understand being contrarian for being contrarian. That's why, like in a race like this, you have to go to the 3 Diamonds Farm Future Stallion of the Year, Jakarta. I don't know how you don't go at Jakarta here, Josh.
If Jakarta turns into a stallion, I mean, I know it's 2021, but
I know. I was being sarcastic. It's one of those things. You know, do you want to be contrarian? You do, but you have to control it. You don't want to be contrarian to a point where you're going to lose money. In a field like this, you know, what is there, 6 horses? There's not a lot of chaos that's going to happen in this race. I'd rather be contrarian in a race that's going to offer chaos and offer questions. You know, the 1 and 2 here are your most likely winners. I mean, you have to go pretty far back in the running lines to see Jakarta putting up a figure that might be competitive in this field. Granted, it is at 5.5 furlongs. So can you make an argument at 6-1? I wouldn't. if the tote board has Jakarta at 12-1, 10-1, maybe I start thinking about opening up a pick 3 with Jakarta or a late double. I'm sorry. It depends. Let the tote tell you what's going to happen. But, I don't think Jakarta's a 6-1 horse in this field. But that's just my opinion.
I agree with Brian. I think if I was looking for a price and trying to get around the 2 logicals, the 4 In Good Spirits or the 5 Flower Point, one of the 2 of those probably has the most upside because you can kind of draw a bunch of lines through some previous races and squint hard enough and get to maybe some form that, if the top 2 don't fire their A game, makes them have the ability to step up and potentially, improve enough to be a player here. But, again, I think when you're contrarian for contrarian's sake, you're going to burn a lot of money being contrarian for contrarian's sake for every time you're right. And it's hard to not have that just turn into a massive cash burn trying to get around logicals.
Is it bad that I was totally not into Jakarta until Brian's like, well, you have to go kind of pretty far back, and I went pretty far back, and I looked at this caress last year, 5.5 furlongs.
You can make an argument with Jakarta that if you get rid of the 6 furlong races and get rid of the 5, everything else that's not a 5.5 furlong race, she has clearly done her best running at 5.5 furlongs.
Right. And you've got
you're saying there's a chance,
but you've got nobody outside of her, and you have Luis Saez aboard, so there's going to be no trouble for Jakarta at the break. Saez is smart, you can make a pretty strong argument if this horse is double digits.
Man,
there's a price.
I'm so fucked.
I mean, there's a price every horse makes sense, but 6-1 ain't it for Jakarta. I'm sorry to tell you.
No, now if it was 10-1, what's your opinion?
I'd be more interested. I don't like the 1 at all. So that my opinion's different than probably some of you guys. I don't think it's a 2-horse race. I think Robin Sparkles wins by as many as she wants to. This one is a cheap horse that wins cheap races. One time she came to Belmont, she got beat, ran 3rd. And she has Irad, who has not rode well today, with a trainer who has not historically had a lot of success at Saratoga. So I just have no interest in the 1. So to me, 10-1 on Jakarta, is a little interesting, but at the end of the day, you still have to think they can win. I'm just not totally sure I see it with Jakarta. I'd be much more interested in a horse like the 5 Flower Point, who didn't run all that bad in her first start after the year-long layoff, and then has kind of improved in each start since that. I mean, tossed the dirt race, of course. Kind of looking at her running lines, I wasn't sure that 5.5 furlongs is what she wanted. It looks like she might want more like 6. But she does have 2 of her 3 wins at 5.5 furlongs. So I think Rosario fits this horse. And it seemed like today he was starting to get his timing down a little bit, coming off a win here. And if the 1, 2, and potentially the 4 go, pretty quick on the front, I mean, and then the 3, who I don't think is fast enough, but her only option is to go. It looks like Flower Point's your only closer in the whole race, honestly. So I think that she makes a lot of sense. And in full disclosure, I'll probably smash a 2-5 exacto straight up.
It's gonna suck when Jakarta beats they, and then Josh has that.
Dude, it's gonna suck that Jakarta, this is the race Jakarta wins, and I have no money through her.
So you imagine? Come Saturday, you're gonna put money on Jakarta because you.
It depends how many cocktails I am, right? And depends how tilted I am.
You're gonna be like, "Oh, Jakarta owes me." You're gonna go all mark on this and say that the horse owes you something, and
I think it's like an ATM.
How am I the horse owes me one person here? It's everybody else. It's not me.
I don't know. Yeah, Mark. What else do you got? I know you've looked. I don't know if you've looked so much at Saturday. I know you looked through Friday. Was there anything you wanted to point out on either of those cards?
No, I think that Saturday card, with the exception of the 2 stakes races, is amazingly deep and amazingly competitive. And I think both the early and late pick 5 sequence pay absolutely wheelbarrows. Specifically the early. So I'm trying to figure out some sort of a structure to approach the early, but nothing really to point out. Just very big, a lot of very big, very competitive fields. Quite a few maiden races. A lot of hype horses that are running. It should be a really, really good card.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Well, let's move on to Del Mar. So I took a quick look at Friday's card, and I didn't really see too much that I was really interested in. I don't know, Caleb, have you had a chance to look through Friday's Del Mar card at all?
I've kind of glanced through it. I haven't given it the time I need to. I'll be covering that tomorrow with Gino and a few others. But yeah, it feels like the opening weekend cards at Del Mar were so good. Like I think I was telling you about that earlier this week. The fields were huge and the races were stacked. This is not the same quality as what we had last week. It still is better than like Santa Anita, but it's only 8 races, and some of the the classiest race I think of the day is like a Calbred dirt sprint for like a listed stakes race. So I mean, I'll play it most likely, or I'll certainly play it, but I haven't really found anything I love or I'm trying to build my day around yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Friday card felt very chalky, where Saturday felt a little more competitive. But man, the Friday card was one of those ones you felt like you could play like a $10 pick 5 and hit the early. It felt like there was only 1 or 2 players in every race.
Yeah, I didn't get a huge chance to look through this yet, but yeah, I don't. Maybe we'll come back to Friday and look at some stuff. I know Saturday we got 2 really nice stakes races actually. Kind of compared like the opposite of what we have at Saratoga. We have these 2 really nice turf races with nice full fields. So I'm looking at race 8 here, the Ed Reed or the Eddie Reed, mile and 1/8 on the turf. We got some real big names in here, such as United, Smooth Like Straight, and I mean, like you guys already know, I'm going to bet Smooth Like Straight, and that's my pick in this race. So, Mark, where did you go here?
I ended up on United because I've bet United, I think, every time he's run about his last 10 races, and he just really consistently runs well. The other thing with United, he seems to really love this Del Mar surface. He's 2 for 2 wins, 2 places in 4 starts, and he's also perfect at the distance. They cut him back a little bit off from what he's been running lately. I still think he has that turn of foot as a 6-year-old to be able to be a major player here. And, I realize I'm picking the chalk, but I think he's just one of the better fits in this race.
So I gotta before you start talking, Caleb, I realized that I fucked up and I misread a message I was sent. We do have a play for Friday.
Oh,
and it's actually yeah. I just once you called me a shithead, I realized like, oh, maybe I should have read the date that he put, not just that it was his play. But Brian's got a value play here, and Mark is just like shaking his head because he just cannot believe what he's seeing right here. Race 4.
Put it up
the
there.
7 Tyshawn 8-1 morning line $3,000. $3,000 here on StableDuel Bucks. All right.
Okay, I know. I said I don't say it, but there are horses that owe me money, and this was supposed to be goddamn money.
See, that's why I made the reference I just made literally 5 minutes ago, because you think horses owe you money. Now, listen, for a StableDuel approach, look at the horse's running line. In this field, the horse is going to be close. Probably not going to win, but if you're looking for a shot for $3,000 on StableDuel, this is a race that a lot of people are going to be short on, with Bold Endeavor, and why not take a shot at the $3,000 horse here? There's probably maybe a little upside, a little tiny bit, but. I mean, the horse is in good form right now. I hate to say it. I mean, you look at the running lines, the horse is getting better somehow as a 15 start 2-win horse.
I mean,
does he win, or do you just like him thinks he hits the board?
I just like him to be close and hit the board for 3,000.
Okay. I don't hate that take.
I'm looking for a horse because here's my approach here for StableDuel. Most people are going to be on the 2 or the 3 here, I believe. I think that's what I wrote down. Yeah, Bold Endeavor, Family Biz, they're going to be all over StableDuel. If for some reason you can get by here for the $3,000 horse and you get, you place and get the 30 some odd points with Trash Can, you're going to be pretty happy, and you're going to be able to go somewhere else with your money. That's my thought process here, and that's why I picked Caleb's favorite Trash Can.
No, I think it makes a ton of sense. you always have to find. And let me put your banner back up here just in case. You always got to find like a couple of these horses. And Caleb, I know we talked about this like briefly, maybe offline, but like really like there's this like weird chasm between like 8-1 and like 5-2 that you usually it's kind of hard to find like value in those spots unless you pick the winner, right? Like if you have a horse that's like 5-1 and he runs like third, like you've spent a ton of money. Because I want to say what's a 5-1 horse cost you, like $5,000?
6,000.
6,000. Like you're spending a ton. You're spending double of what you're spending on this 8-1 horse. And I mean, I think sometimes when it comes to a morning line, there's not that big of a difference in a horse trying to hit the board at 5-1 and 8-1, and you're paying up double. So, your goal should be about 350 points, and you can't just get them all with 5-2 shots and 8-5 shots. So, I really like this play. You especially in a race where you got a horse. That's a real clear favorite at 8-5, and I already forgot the name. In Bold Endeavor here, like, hey, if the 7-2 and the 4-1 don't run, right, and you get one of these 8-1s or the 6-1 at a longer price to get second, like you've gotten value out of this race in StableDuel. So I think that's a great play, Brian. I like it.
Thanks. And the horse still owes Mark money.
And the horse does owe Mark tons of money. What was the race, Mark? Mark, there was a race where you like
that Keeneland race. Yeah. That Keeneland race.
Where they didn't run at all? They ran 7?
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, that was the American Turf. That must have been on. Was it the Derby undercard last year? Yeah, that was on the Derby undercard. And he's got tons of top and bottom turf pedigree. And I'm like, oh my God, they're finally putting him on the right surface. And he was up the rail, almost got it done. And I chased him the next 3 times on turf, and they put him back on dirt, and he really hasn't done much since.
See, and I find it hard to believe Josh has not bet this horse, because early on in this horse's career, this horse was an EP7. And I remember that, because I loved this horse going into the Indiana Derby, and then it just fell apart.
Look, if there's one thing that the viewers know is that I have restraint, right? So like I gotta leave a couple of the EP7s off my tickets. I
would say, Josh, if you want another pick, I do have another one for Friday. If you want to go adventuring.
Okay, what do you got?
Race 6, the 4 horse. This is Love My Jimmy. The Jose Valdivia up for Peter Miller.
That's a Josh horse.
I'm not old enough for that horse.
This is a Josh horse. Horse is going to get all sorts of loose here. It was a pace setter in the Desert Code last out and ran pretty damn well. It's getting some class relief off that. I think it's the exact same ride he did in that race. And they're going to have to play, come catch him. And it's a horse that maybe doesn't win. He might not be the best in here, and he might set up some of the closers, but I think he's a really likely horse at, 8-1, again, that $5,000 horse in StableDuel to hit the board. And I thought he was super, super interesting in here. He could get real brave on the front end and might steal this because this is, a little easier race than his last out. And he's also the kind of horse that, I think worst case, he hits the board for you and you get some points out of him.
But Lieutenant Dan.
Is Lieutenant Dan in this? Oh, he is in this race.
He is in this race.
I thought we were just making Forrest Gump jokes for no reason.
No, I'm a big fan of the 15-month layoff, whatever Lieutenant Dan's coming off of. That's crazy.
So, funny story is, I believe Bree Mott's entire angle on the Del Mar meet is Peter Miller and Gary Barber owned. So, Mark, you're probably in good company. Bree's probably all over this horse. And after her third Del Margarita, she'll probably be putting a significant wager on Love My Jimmy. I really wish we could work a Manscaped joke in here. Brian, you got one?
You can work a Manscaped joke in there. If you love your Jimmy, you could visit manscaped.com. Code wrong lead, 20% off on all that good stuff. And you gotta love your Jimmy. I love my Jimmy. I love your Jimmy too if the price is right. $20 is $20.
And that's going to be it for us. Oh man!
Hey,
All right, let's.
You said you wanted a joke. You didn't tell me there were guidelines to the joke. You didn't give me rules. You just said here.
So United.
So United.
Yeah, so United. So United.
I think I was going to jump in before we got sidetracked with Jimmy's and all that stuff. Mark, what? So I don't hate United here. I mean, I have them written down actually, but how do you explain the last race? I mean, the horse goes off as the 1-5 favorite in a 4-horse field, and he doesn't run a step. He runs dead last.
Yeah, he is the definition of the every other type horse. If you look back through his running lines, he wins every other race, and he has done this for quite some time. I don't know. I don't know if you want to say he needed one. I realized he was really short in that race, and he just sort of stopped, and I assumed he would have run better. I don't really have a great excuse for it. I just, I mean, again, he's a horse, but he's Breeders' Cup Turf. You could say that about. There's a couple of other races in there. I guess he wasn't that short in the Breeders' Cup Turf, but there's been a couple of other times he's been a short price favorite and he's sort of flopped. So I don't know. It's not a situation where I look at it and I go, oh geez, he just hit a cliff and he fell off it, and he's on a massive downhill slide. I don't know. Did he need the race or what?
Well, I mean, this is what the struggle I had is it's from a speed figure perspective, it's the worst race he's run in almost 2 years. So that's not great. I mean, and it's not like it was first off the layoff. He was second off the layoff where he ran and won 2 back. So on the one hand, I'm like, if you draw a line through that race, you're getting 5-2 on a horse that is without a doubt the fastest horse in this race. But he is a 6-year-old, and it does make you kind of wonder, like, what happened. I mean, it's definitely a head scratcher.
Yeah, it is, and again, it's one of those situations where if that race bothers you at 5-2, you're not getting the price you need to be able to kind of draw a line through that race. It is a little hard to kind of go and kind of completely ignore it. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably think that 58-4 work on July 18th seems to suggest that nothing's wrong with the horse. I mean, clearly he's still sound. It maybe just wasn't his day last time out.
And I would say keep pounding. I think it's San Luis Rey kind of says otherwise, doesn't it?
What's that?
Keep pounding is being a comment that he's been off form all year, and I thought his. He said he's this year. His San Luis Rey. I mean, I realized it was a couple months ago, but still, that was a very nice race.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Stewart really likes Count Again in this spot. He even said that it's his biggest play of the weekend. So he loves Count Again in this spot.
I don't think he's completely wrong. I mean, why wouldn't you want a closer here?
I was actually gonna ask about the 5 award winner, coming back here and did beat Red King, beat United, beat Acclimate, who came out and won next out. I mean, 8-1 on the morning line, at least from a stable duel perspective. I mean, you're getting a bit of value on a horse that since left the Brian Lynch barn has either finished first or second. I mean, are the waters just too deep here?
No, I wouldn't say they're too deep. I mean, I think 8-1's a great play in stable duel. I would agree with you. I kind of want to see him do it again before I'm going to run in there and bet him with real money. I think there's others I like more. I'll probably leave it at that. But I don't hate using him in stable duel at all because he should probably be sitting second, turning for home, and maybe he's good enough to get a piece at a big price. My big angle in this race was that going 9 furlongs on Del Mar turf, last 3 years, leaders are 3 for 43. Only 6% of the races have been wired going 9 furlongs at Del Mar in the last 3 years. So to me, that's a huge play against Smooth Like Straight as the morning line favorite. Yep. I know Josh is probably going to be heartbroken to hear that, but coupled with the fact that Rispoli's kind of had a cold start to the meet, he's only 2 for 23. I think one of those ones is actually on dirt. And I've always kind of thought Smooth Like Straight's a better miler. I don't think he's quite as effective going 9 furlongs. So I definitely agree with Keep Pounding. I think Count Again looks good. I think Say the Word looks good. I think United, if you forgive that last race, makes some sense here. So there's a lot of ways you can go here. Even a horse like Restrained Vengeance, I think, at 10-1, like, is he as good as these other horses? Like, probably not. But is he good enough to run third in a 7-horse field at 10-1? I mean, I think so. So there's a lot of ways you can go here. But my main opinion is that I'm going to be against Smooth Like Straight.
See, Caleb, that's what I was looking at was the 7. I think Restrained Vengeance is like a stable duel type horse at 10-1. That's a horse that you build a stable around because it's going to be cheap.
Yeah, and the other thing with Restrained Vengeance, he's got. Oh, sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
You're okay, Mark. Go ahead.
I was just say he's improved his last 3. Seems like he's been, a better horse. I don't know, coming into this summer. I don't, you don't normally expect him to improve as a 6-year-old, but his last 3 races, each one's been a little better than the last, and seems like he's, kind of finding his career best form now as a 6-year-old. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think Restrained Vengeance is a horse that makes a ton of sense at a price. You're getting an inexpensive horse at a stable duel type play, and yeah, why not?
Yeah, I actually I did a little bit of a zigzag here, and I figured I don't know, I like Smooth Like Straight. I think he's probably top 3 or 4 turf horses going right now. I think I agree with you, Caleb. I think he's probably better at a mile, but I think like real money, I might be single to the horse. I don't know. I got to look at it a little bit closer, but it kind of depends on the rest of the sequence as well. But I did do a little bit of a zigzag here. I hope I wrote everything down right. Yeah, after looking at this a little bit, I think I'm gonna make my value play the 5 award winner here. I'm gonna jump in with you guys with these 8-1s, $3,000. You might not get a win out of this horse, but I don't know. I don't really see award winner, finishing out of the money here. So I think you'll turn those $3,000 into, between like 20 and 40 points, and move on with your life.
See, now I'd go a different way with award winner. I think award winner is not fast enough to compete, to be that early runner here. And I'd be afraid award winner misses the board completely because he gets engaged too early and gets stuck in some kind of a battle and wears himself out and finishes 10 lengths behind the winner. But
yeah, that was sort of my take as well, Brian. My thought was that I think there's a situation where maybe Juan gets a little aggressive with award winner. He gets into it with Smooth Like Straight, pressing that pace, and really sets up the closers like United. And from that scenario, award winner stops and finishes. He has stopped before, so. Again, not in this barn. When he was in the Brian Lynch barn, he did have a couple times where he did completely stop and get washed out of it pretty badly. So.
All right, I think we talked that race to death here. So congratulations to Smooth Like Straight for winning the I forgot the name of the race, the Ed Reed, because everyone hates him but me.
My $750 horse, Emerald, just finished 5th on a 6-horse field. So
take those 10 points, baby.
I quick capped that thing, and that was an ugly decision. Wait, I finished last. I'm sorry. Nice.
You build me up, and then you just.
Well, the funny thing was in race 1, I played 2 horses. One was plus 28, one was minus 27. So I walked away with that with 1 point. So, Foo's going to get me again.
Dude, I know you guys played, or some of you guys played. Colonial this week. I know Caleb, you did, I did, Mark. I don't know, Brian, did you play Colonial for StableDuel this week?
I didn't play a single race until today. This was one of those weeks where I was just swamped.
Man, when you have just like 9 races with like 10 to 12 horses in every race, like it's fucking brutal, huh? Like
that's like winter golf strain.
Dude,
it was still tough. It was like Kentucky. Yeah, it's like $5,000 claimer Kentucky Downs. Like,
yeah, basically.
It's cheap. A cheap Kentucky Downs is what it feels like. There's a lot of thinking, a lot of pace dynamics at play, a ton of horses to go through. When a lot of times you go through a race and you're like, oh, there's 6 horses, and I found one that has a cool angle that I like to target. But all of a sudden you're in, a 20-horse field or whatever, 14, 16 horse field, and you're like, oh, there's 6 horses that have angles I like to chase. Well, I can't chase them all. So which one do I like the most? And yeah, it gets hard. That's it. It's mentally draining.
Yeah, it was tough, man. I mean, I hit a nice pick 3 that is going to go straight to my Vegas trip next week. But like other than that, man, like StableDuel has just been tough because like even if you got a horse that you think like these turf races, right? These blanket finishes, like your horse might end up 6 and you get negative points, right? But like you might have paid a couple grand for the horse, like and it puts you in a hole. Like there's definitely less margin for error. I mean, the scores haven't seemed as high, but then at the same time, I saw some dudes with like 370 points or something. So it's been pretty crazy. Caleb, did you cash any? Well, I know, Mark, you cashed. You finished 5th in the first one, right?
Yep.
Caleb, did you cash in any of them?
In the Colonial, no. I played Monday and Tuesday, and Colonial and I really aren't on speaking terms, so I didn't play today. Yesterday.
Yeah, after Monday, you were done after Monday.
Yeah, I was pretty much, done with Colonial and all their nonsense after Monday.
I was done after Monday too, but then of course I deposited and hit on Tuesday, and it made up for like 3 weeks of just like idiocy. So that was nice.
So if Colonial's not good to you, Josh, is early speed not good to Colonial?
On the dirt it is, but they only run like 1 or 2 dirt races a day. So I was really mad. Like, I try not to go on the Twitter and like, bash jockeys or like, like yell about like my plays or anything like that. I try to take a more laid back approach on Twitter, mostly just like, I don't know, retweet StableDuel stuff and, just like positive things. But man, I think twice I was like, man, that left a real bad taste in my mouth. And then I think like the next day I was like, man, that race left a real bad taste in my mouth. There was this one race where I thought the 6 was like looked like lone speed, and the horse was just like strangled all the way to the back. And to quote Nico, I was like, they got to throw that jockey in jail. But I don't know. Let's stop talking about Colonial and let's talk about happier things like Del Mar. Race 10, San Clemente. Caleb, I see you got a long shot play here.
I do. So I probably have to first at least admit that going global is going to be really, really hard to beat in this race. The horse has done literally nothing wrong since coming to the country. It has the best turf jockey, out in the colony out there. Won by daylight last time out. So, like, even if you concede that the 2 going global is going to win by a length of 3, I still really like the 7, Jibber Jabber. I think this horse is another one of those European shippers that came over sometime at the end of 2020. Had a couple of works, went out to Santa Anita, ran okay in a maiden race in the first start in the U.S., felt like she was kind of getting her bearings a little bit and still kind of learning what to do. And then she came out in her second start and ran a much improved race. Got the job done, going a mile at Santa Anita. Pretty good effort there. And that was with a little bit of trouble where she was kind of banged around a little bit right in the stretch about the 8th pole. Took a couple months off, came back in a high-level optional claiming $150,000 race. And she just kind of unfortunately got stuck behind a super dead slow pace. They were 24-2 and 49 to the half at Santa Anita. Going 1 mile is so slow. She was dead last in a field of 6 and actually passed all of them except for 1 to just miss by half a length. Like, I don't know that she can beat going global in this spot. And I get that she loses Rispoli, but I'm not that worried about it. I think Jibber Jabber at 15-1 is the improving type who should get a more honest pace setup than she had last time and provides a ton of value to use in live money or in StableDuel. I'll have both going through this horse in some form or fashion.
Look, I'm just saying, if that trainer was Larry Ravelli instead of Patrick Gallagher, this horse would be like 6-5, right, Brian?
No.
Come on, Jose Valdivia Jr. aboard.
Yes, but no.
I was going to say in the same race, I know Josh and I were talking about this before the stream. I think both Josh and I like the same value play as well. No? No, we
No,
don't.
Keep going. Sorry. You weren't supposed to hear that.
Karakatsi, the 10 horse in here. As we know, noted turf jock Kent DeSarmo. You can pay the rent with, apparently. This is a horse who, and I know Briz doesn't quite agree with time forms on the figures here, but improving pattern the last, honestly, 5 races. Horse that hasn't really won a lot of races, but has never really run a bad one. In stakes company the last 2, barely missing just by a neck in the last out. And if you're thinking there's quite a bit of pace in here, which I do kind of agree with, I think the 1-3 and the 6 all sort of set the pace. I think Kent can kind of settle into that stalking trip just off the pace and make one big prolonged move top of the stretch. I think this is the one that sits a really nice trip, has some upside. Yeah, maybe doesn't beat the favorite, maybe doesn't beat Going Global in here. But I think there's a lot of upside left here, and I think it's an interesting horse at a 10-1 morning line, which is, and I don't know the conversion in the StableDuel for 10-1, but it's
$1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah, so it's a fairly inexpensive horse as a StableDuel type, who I think has a very high chance of hitting the board and even being top 2.
I'm just gonna say it. I thought the number 1 horse was named Pizza. That's what I liked. So, the end.
We did have a pizza horse win at Saratoga first time out.
Yeah, it was a Bobby Flay horse.
Yeah. Who's not really known for his Italian food. Although he did just open an Italian restaurant in Vegas, so go figure.
You should go and tell him that you made money on his horse.
I did make money on this horse. You're right. I should go.
You should.
Let me pencil it down and get a nice reservation.
If he's there 100%, he'll be a dick to you because he's a dick to everyone.
Oh, there
Just
goes Mark. Buzzkill Mark.
He's a dick.
Buzzkill Mark. Never meet your heroes, guys.
Who did you like here, Josh? Did you like that Caraconte horse?
I did like that Caraconte horse. I like the Caraconte horse. I was kind of going back and forth. I tried to really make a case for Madone here, but I don't know if it's the fact that Madone owes me money from that just fucking awful effort last time out. I don't know what happened. I thought you'd get a much better run out of Madone there, and just didn't do any running. You got the pace setup that you think you would have wanted from Madone too. I don't know. So I was thinking about maybe going back to it, cutting back to the mile from the mile and the 8th, but I don't know. I mean, 4-1, I think is just still way too short. And I think that's your second choice, right? Because I think your morning line favorite Going Global is 4-5. So yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I don't know. I think for StableDuel purposes, you're going to want to pay less money than that 4-1. I did like this 12 closing remarks a little bit. I thought the horse made sense. It was getting Rispoli back. So just like that alone, I feel like you got to move up. And the horse seems to have done its best running at a mile. So, did have that mile and the 8th try in there, and Providencia. Sorry, I probably just fucking that up. It's coming back. Was placed second through disqualification in that last one. So I don't know. I thought closing remarks was kind of interesting from a maybe even a possible win candidate, depending on what kind of price you get. But of the horses that weren't the favorite, I thought closing remarks and the 10 Caraconte made the most sense to me here.
See, I don't know how anybody's going to spend $11,000 in StableDuel for Going Global. I mean, the most likely winner, that's such a huge number to get 60 points if the horse wins. You'd asked earlier about being contrarian for the sake of being contrarian, and this is a great spot to do it for gaming theory only. And I wouldn't do it in a pick 5, but
I don't know, Caleb, you got anything else to add?
No, I mean, it's a lot of money to spend on a horse that isn't that much the fastest on paper. I mean, it certainly is the fastest, but from a StableDuel perspective, there's enough interesting alternatives here that I'd be more inclined to take a bomb and hope to hit the board than I would to probably anchor my ship to going global, even if I do acknowledge her as likeliest winner.
Yep.
Yeah. Was there anything else that you guys kind of saw this weekend? I know, hey, like we actually like got through those races kind of quick, which is like a rarity for us. But DJ's actually asking. He's like, why doesn't he think the 11 can win? Who's our 11?
Nimbo Stratus.
Oh, that horse made a lot of sense actually.
Nimble
I think
Stratus
it's
going on the stretch out there.
I think it's a sprinter, and I think out of the Peter Miller barn always makes me nervous. So 2 strikes, and I don't want to wait for the 3rd pitch.
And I know you're a huge Abel Cedillo fan.
I don't care for Abel one way or another. He's fine as far as California Colony goes. I just think this horse is a sprinter.
Oh, I clicked that again.
Hey, you got a good point there, Caleb. I mean, I was looking right now. Every time the horse ran a mile, I mean, on Briz, his numbers are way too slow to win this race.
Yeah, he's like a different horse when he runs at 6 furlongs.
Yep. Interesting.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for Del Mar. Mark, I don't know. Was there anything that you wanted to come back to on Friday's card at Saratoga?
No, I already put it away. I don't think so. Big competitive field tomorrow. Should be some really good races. We'll know more once I see scratches kind of plays. So hop on Discord and I'll throw some stuff out there. I had a really good day today. I know a bunch of other people did as well. So try to keep that streak rolling.
Road Warrior is asking, do you think the wonderful people in Naira will be doing place betting on the CCA Oaks?
4-horse field is place bettable at Naira, so I would expect the place divers will be out in force.
Hello? Hey, Mario. Yeah, 4 horses, superfecta box. All right. Hey, so my buddy Mario just called up, said there's 4 horses in this race. We're going to box all 4 of them for the super. We're going to hit it. It's going to pay $1.80, but we're going to be into it.
No, Mario would play the pick 3. Although not honestly, like thinking about it, like playing the pick 3 and playing like a pick 3 and like hitting all there. Like, I mean, I guess you're hoping for calamity. I would rather probably just do all but Malthot, but but that does sound like a Mario play. The $27 pick 3,
including the favorite in all 3 legs, of course.
Yeah,
of course. Why wouldn't you? Always.
All right, Caleb, where are you going to be tomorrow? I know you picked up the last minute thing.
Yeah. So last week I hopped on a stream with Gino at It's Me Gino B on Twitter, and we covered the Friday Del Mar card on a live stream for StableDuel. We're doing the same thing this week. So tomorrow at 5 Eastern, you can check it out on his Twitter at It's Me Gino B, or just look on YouTube for That's What G Said, and it'll be streaming live. And I think it's me and a few others. Barry and Bremont will be on at the very least for a couple of minutes to kind of give us the intro. She's on track, so I'm sure the whole atmosphere will be nothing short of electric. So it's pretty exciting stuff. And yeah, you can check it out tomorrow.
All right. And then, Mark, Brian, and I think we'll just be hanging out in Discord. So if you guys got any questions or comments, whatever, you guys can hit us up. It's just kind of a quietish weekend. I mean, there's good racing. I mean, I feel like every card at Saratoga is usually good, and Del Mar it's usually good, but I think Friday's card is kind of weak. But I'll probably jump in StableDuel still. We'll be around. We'll be posting stuff, and we'll probably have a couple of up-to-date plays after scratches for StableDuel, so you guys will probably see us on StableDuel Twitter. But for Chase, who was not able to make it tonight, I know he's got some stuff tomorrow, I think. So you can check him out at Of Oak Lawn. I'm Josh at Cherry Drank, Mark at 2 Turns, Brian at BD Horseplayer, and of course the good-looking Caleb at Caleb WVU. We will catch you guys later.
I love my Jimmy.